Yes, welcome to the results and good evening, good morning. I don't know what time you see this video, but I hope you guys are doing well. These are your results for the sixth period. And before I continue with the results, let me just congratulate and thank those who have been committed to work as a team until we come to this point. I know most of you guys are being carried over others' shoulders to do the work. And I could see a lot of excuses. My laptop is dead. I cannot be online. I have something else. But thank you very much for you guys to carry that team spirit and help others, those who could not make it when you had to make some critical decisions. And obviously, as you could see, the purpose of this course was actually to expose you to factors that might affect your business. And we refer to these factors either as micro factors or macro factors. And when we refer to micro factors, we are looking at things that you could influence to make sure that your company performs. And this mostly internal decisions on pricing, on production volumes, and budgeting in terms of marketing awareness, R&D investments. These were decisions that you could influence to make sure that your company performs better in the industry. But there were some things that you could not influence, and this is what we call now macro factors. And these are things like decisions of other competitors that could also influence how your company performed. Things like government policies on minimum wages, things like external environment, like a storm that was introduced in period 5. These things you could not influence them, but you had to make decisions and navigate your business through these external forces that you could not control, but still plan to make sure that you are profitable. And obviously, the idea was also to just expose you to the fact that sometimes the performance of your company does not necessarily depend on the decisions that you make, but they are equally influenced by the decisions of the competitors in your industry. I hope that's also good learning that you have learned from this simulation. And we gave you a test of what it feels to manage a company in a crisis. We are in this crisis of COVID. You guys were given a crisis where the market was hit by a storm, and a lot of things had to go down. Employees' performance, machine performance, probably sometimes your budgets have been affected. You still have to pay high salaries. Customers could not pay cash because they did not have enough money, but you still had to sell and make a profit. And this is actually one of also the learning curve that you could learn from the seminar. But looking at the prices, you can see now the highest price goes to company number 4, followed by company number 1, and these are the tech leaders in the market. It's actually good prices if the qualities are also good. Otherwise, customers will reject high prices if the quality of the product is not up to standard. Otherwise, cost leaders, we have the cheapest company at 450 for company 3, and 470 company number 2, and 486 for company number 5. Obviously, you guys, your quality must really be good compared to the other direct competitors that are fellow cost leaders now. Otherwise, customers will reject high prices where the quality is not good and try to get something from where the price is better and the quality is much better. Okay, but we know by this time what determines our quality is obviously investment in R&D. As you can see there, it's very bad there for company 4. You guys charging quite a lot, I think 610 or 630, but you invested only this time 1,000. Okay, maybe that this was not the right time to invest that 1,000. Maybe previous period when you guys were in crisis, you could invest that. But this time the demand is good. You are producing a little bit more units, And remember, at the end of the day, R&D it's actually going to look at as well how many units you have produced, and R&D per unit is now going to be the number of units you produce. 1000 divided by that number, it gives you R&D per unit, and the system looks at index. Technology index is determined by that R&D per unit. This one, maybe I could say it's an overinvestment, but given that tech leaders invest also little, I could say overinvestment, but I could see you guys kind of produce a lot of units. You could also invest that 7,000. It's not so bad because you're really charging 486, which is also not a cheaper product. But company 4, I guarantee you could have done better with your R&D budget, because even cost leaders investing a little bit more than how much you guys are investing. 8,000 from first company there, company 1. You guys are tech leaders, but customers will not see how much you invested, but they will pay attention to the index. And the index, technology index, is determined by this accumulated investment in R&D. I can see now the reasoning of company 4 there. Since you have been investing much more than anyone else, you decide this time to relax your budget. Let's see if it was maybe the best decision. I could not also decide 1,000 was bad when I look at your overall, but the system will look at whether it was the best decision to make. You guys cheapest also, I think you invested the least, but the price here was a little bit more compared to here, but customers might prefer to buy from these guys 470 then come and buy from you guys at 486, because they get a much better quality product for the better price there. Otherwise, not so bad for you guys to charge that as well here, 102, because if you look at the index, it's 132 and 131, just 1 unit difference, so which means you guys really did quite good. Otherwise, 1.14, you guys lucky because you are charging the least. Otherwise, you could have some stock there in your shops that you could not sell because customers would reject that kind of quality for a high price. 1.2 and 1.24, 4 units difference. Customers might really prefer to come and buy from these guys than to buy from you, unless if you guys really created really good awareness like you did. I see you last time I think you invested enough, but if your awareness is not right, then you are likely to lose customers to these guys, unless if they also don't produce enough. Utilization of production equipment, which is your production machines, is very crucial in business to make sure that your equipment are efficient, which means they work for the company to at least get the company some good return on investment. If you buy machines and they keep on there idling there, it's not good for your costs, because machines cost a lot of money to buy, and you also have to maintain them. You are losing some money through depreciation and licensing fees. The highest utilization of machines there is from company 3 at 100%, followed by company number 5 at 96.67. The least is 76.39. I believe you guys, it's either you have 2 machines maybe and the other machines not really producing a lot. Otherwise, 88, 87, it's not so bad. But if you guys sell out, those who did not make your machines work 100, if you sell out and you give away customers, that becomes a bad decision not to make your machines work, because you could have produced extra units with free capacity that you already have without going to invest in other machine. But if you guys maybe you give away 10 or maybe 15 customers, it's worth it than buying another machine at 7,500 euros, pay maintenance and licensing fee. for such machines that you were not really going to use. Otherwise, the concept is make sure your machines are efficient, and that lowers your cost of goods manufactured. Staff utilization. This time, people were working, each full-time worker that was hired was working 100%, which means they were making 90 units in this period. Okay, this is good. That means your cost of production will really go down, especially maybe for company 3 who also made their machines work more. And if you look at the cost of goods manufactured, I can see now these guys they scored again. Probably they are producing more units than you guys. This boils back now to the concept of mass production, whereby the more units you produce, the cheaper it becomes to produce one unit. As you can see here, these guys are only at 262 costs per unit produced. Here 265. Even these tech leaders, I don't know how you guys came to this. Probably you really made your produce might be quite a lot. This means you'll make good profit from the wholesaler. I don't know about your prime cost, but in your shop you are charging also a good price. You might be in for some good profits there. But you guys, your cost a little bit up, but you will still make about, I think, 102 euros in profit margins when you sell to the wholesaler. And you guys will make also a lot, because I think this time the wholesaler was offering you guys 385. And that means that price minus the cost of goods manufactured, because the wholesaler was just buying at this point before you actually invest in selling expenses. Otherwise, in general, cost of goods manufactured was low for everybody, especially also I'm shocked by these tech leaders who managed to pull this down to 265. Usually the cost leaders, the tech leaders will have much higher cost of goods manufactured. Otherwise, you guys here, team 3, you made your machines work, you made your workers work, but probably because your workers are working 100% here, maybe you made some temporary workers to work for you, and those temporary workers maybe were costing a lot from the company, and those costs were directly related to or linked to your cost of production. That's where usually you will find company that made their workers work 100 in their machines, but their costs are still very high. Or otherwise, you maybe did not also produce in volume, and maybe did not qualify for those discounts that were given if you bought more materials. Okay. Otherwise, this is your awareness there. Awareness 8,000, 8,000, 11,009, 5,100, 11,000. But I'm not happy with company one's awareness. Understand you guys are tech leaders, but you could have done better. This was the last period. You could have done better to make sure that you sell out. But if you sell out without problem, then awareness was just fine. But as long as you have met the minimum of 5% of your sales turnover, usually the system will not punish you a lot if you are not selling a lot of units. But the highest known company in the market at period 6, as you can see here, is company number 2. They are known 80% of the market. If you go to the island now, you ask where you can buy a surfboard, 88% of people you meet will refer you to company 2. The least, actually company number 1, but 70% for a tech leader. I really don't have a problem with your awareness in general. That's a lot. In other groups, I still have tech leaders only known maybe 56% of the time. But you guys, this is an indication that we have been investing in awareness in the previous period, and obviously your previous investments will also benefit you in this current period. The issue is you guys still invested more money in print, and I explained already, print benefits you in long term, but this time you didn't have to think beyond 6 months because you are closing down anyways. You could have invested more money in sales. This is another learning curve. When you decide to invest in marketing, you have to make sure that you select the right medium. Okay. Looking at now whether you are looking at long-term or short-term strategies, okay, and decisions that you have to make. But I believe those who invested more in sales promotion this time, you did good, because what you're supposed to do, the demand in the market is already high. There are a lot of people already looking for the surfboards on the island. What you're supposed to do is to make noise. Make noise in your shop. Maybe call some DJs there, offer some buy one get 50% for free, instead of pumping more money. Actually, you're supposed to do that. Invest more in sales promotion, and reduce your investment in printing advertising. Okay. Awareness, that's it. And obviously, because you created quite a good awareness, let's look at the sales. Company 1, you managed to sell 196 units. Your potential was 172. You got some extra customers there. You were not supposed to sell out, but because somebody did not produce enough, you were given a lifeline to sell out, probably to sell some stocks that you could have had should you not gotten these customers. Company 2, you managed to sell actually 380 units. Your potential was 356. You also overproduced there. Okay, you might have still some stock left, but you managed to sell about 24 units extra because somebody did not produce enough. Company number 3, you sold 176. Your potential was 325. You guys were so cheap. You did not produce enough for your shop. You gave almost everything to the wholesaler, and you did not make enough goods for your shop. You disappointed quite a lot of customers. Okay? 325 customers came to your shop, but only 176 managed to buy something. Okay? The quality was good. The price was the lowest in the market. That's what happens when you are lowest price and you don't produce enough. Because the moment you charge less, you stimulate demand, and you have to make sure that you have produced enough to cater for that demand that stimulates with a low price in the market. Company number 4, you guys sold 227. That's a lot for a tech leader selling at 630. You could have sold only 199. You also gained about 26 customers. Okay. Company number 5, you guys sold 351. You could have sold 308. You also gained super extra customers. 351 sold. You supposed only to sell 308. But the issue is those who got customers from mostly customers came from company number 3. So you might not get a good planning quality if the system is strict to punish you because you kind of overproduced. Because should this company not have given you guys extra customers, you might still have some stock levels in the shop. And I'm not granted if you have sold out. And this is where I'm going. You can see, for example, company 1 and company 4, you still have units, and company 5 as well. You still have units in stock. Even after you got some extra customers could still not finish. And that is not good for your planning quality at all. And looking at the current planning quality, 0.26 is the least for company 4. I think maybe you could have, for this period, increased your R&D just a little bit. It could have. I tried to change your R&D, but nevertheless, it was not going to change. It was still going to be that way. The fact that you have a lot of stock there, same as company number same as company number 1. It was not good for you guys. 60% for company number 2. 51%. You guys gave away too many customers. System punished you kindly there. You guys only have 8 units left in your shop. Not so bad. You got the highest planning quality at 8%. That means 8.8 out of 10, 2.6 out of 10, 4.5 out of 10, and 5.1 out of 10. In my other group, I got one company that got a negative planning quality because they were cost leaders. They decided just to produce with one machine. They were the cheapest. They did not make enough goods, and they disappointed a lot of customers, and customers were complaining too much about that, and system really dearly punished them. Otherwise, moment of truth. This is as the profits you made. The highest profit goes to company number 4. You made really you really got not so good planning quality, but you made some good money here. What maybe you could have done to improve your quality there, I don't know. Maybe just to not overproduce, because now you made also more money because you got some extra customers from the competitors, which means the high profit did not come because of good planning quality, but it's because somebody else made a mistake. You guys made a profit of 920 there because you just didn't produce enough. And remember, you probably had some stock from previous period, and that stock was produced at a high cost, and you really did not make a really good profit margin there. 42,000, you guys came second. Third, team 5. Team 2 there, you guys came 4th. And our last born here, team 3. But that is now for period 6. Company number 5, number 4, you guys won period 6. At least you get marks for that. But overall winning as from period 6, company 2 came at the top, and all the other companies did not break even. You guys made really a bad decision. You affected your overall performance there. You finish in the minus. That means you did not break even, and you lose marks for that. Only these guys will get marks for breaking even, and they will get marks for coming first, but you guys gonna get marks for coming second. You guys, team 4, will get marks for coming third. Some miracle there because of that profit you made. You guys lost out previously. I think you were much well off than these guys, but because they made a higher profit now, you guys were never gonna come out of this minus 90 here. You have been making losses all the way from period 1. Probably you made more losses than the profits you made. That's why you finished in the minus. You guys were in the pole position to finish first, but you made the one bad decision not to produce enough goods, and that cost you the first place, and it costed you also break even marks. Okay, otherwise that's your accumulated results, and obviously your cash balance. Profit doesn't mean cash. If you have a highest profit, doesn't mean your company has the highest cash balance. No. As you can see there, all of you guys, because you did not break even, you all finish with an overdraft. None of you guys, all that starting capital you started with, money is lost. If you look in your reports, you might have overdrafts. Some of you guys might really have a lot of overdraft, maybe some not. Otherwise, that was your results for period 6. I hope you guys enjoyed the simulations. The purpose was not really to win trophies and get more profits and blah blah, but the purpose was to learn. That's why we are not allocating all the marks to the competition. We have allocated more marks to the assessment that you did first. It was the business plan analysis, and more marks are coming from the the assessment that we will give you, the last one, it's an open book assessment. You try to do your best. It's to apply. It's not to memorize things, but we want to test really whether you have learned by actually interpreting your financial performance during some given periods, whether period 1, 2, or 3, or 5. Whether questions will target period 5 or 4, doesn't matter. We just want to test whether you have learned something. If you will have questions, you are open to ask on your WhatsApp groups, specific questions for your teams. But again, thank you very much for those who participated and pushed so hard until we reach this point. Otherwise, from my side, see you guys next time. If you don't make it with your other assignments, I will see you guys, don't know, next year, next semester. Unfortunately, we don't retain marks. If you fail, you still have to come and redo this thing. We'll twist here and there, change the scenarios a bit. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope you learned something.